Hey guys, this is our fourth lesson, and let's get started with solving equations. So, the direction says solve each equation and show your work. Oh, I think there was a typo there, but I think it's supposed to say work, not word. But anyways, let's get started with number 1. So let's look at this this algebraic equation. So it says x plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so in order to find, so we're trying to find the solve for variable x, right? And then how do we do that? Well, we're supposed to isolate it. And how do we isolate it? Well, we're trying to get rid of all the numbers. We're gonna make it a 0, okay? So then in order to make plus 3 into 0, right? What do we have to do? Well, we're gonna have to subtract 3, right? And then if we do it to one side, if we do it to this side, then we're going to also do it to this side. So do to both sides, okay? So then that's going to be 0. And now, since x is isolated, x is by itself, 5 minus 3 equals 2, and then that's our answer. Okay? So let's look at number 6. So we have z minus 1 equals 4, okay? So again, we're going to isolate the z. How do we do that? We're going to make negative 1 a 0, right? And then how do we make negative 1 a 0? Well, we're going to add 1 to both sides. Don't forget to do it to both sides, okay? So then when we do that, we're going to get z equals 5. And that's our answer. Okay, so go ahead and finish this page, and then let's move on to the next page, which this time we're going to write an algebraic expression for the word expression. Okay, so let's look at the example problem. So it says variable m is decreased by 7. Oh, variable m decreased by 7 is 12. And then for our first answer, we get m minus 7 equals 12. And then when we solve for it, we get m equals 19. So let's look at number 1 together. It says the sum of variable p and 12 is 18. Okay, so what does the word sum imply? Well, it's basically saying sum is addition, right? So then what is it saying? The sum of p and 12. So the sum of p plus 12 is 18. Okay, so there we have our algebraic expression ready. And then now we just got to solve for p. So then when we solve for it, so it's going to be p plus 12 equals 18. When we solve for it, again, we're going to try to isolate the variable by itself by subtracting 12 to both sides, and then we get p equals 6. Okay, so go ahead and give the rest of the questions a try, and then let's move on to the next page. And here we're gonna write a word expression for the algebraic expression. So again, let's look at the example problem. And then we have x plus 5 equals 8. And then we could write that as the sum of x and 5 is 8, right? Again, the plus means sum, right? And then when we solve for it, we get x equals 3. Okay, so how would we write this number 1 as a word expression? Well, we have 5 times y equals 25. Okay, well, what do we call this? When we have a multiplication, what do we call this? That's a product, right? It's a product. So then how would we write that? Well, it's going to be the product, oh, sorry, okay, wait, let me write it again. the product of 5 and y is 25, right? The product of y and 5 equals 25. Okay, so we have the word expression. And then let's solve it. So we have our word expression, and then when we solve it, 5y equals 25. Again, we got to isolate the y, and so how do we do that? We're going to divide this time. Then that cancels out. And then now we just got to do 25 divided by 5, which is 5. Yes? So, finish this page. Finish the rest of the questions. And then let's move on to our last page, which is word problems. So let's look at number 1. And it says, in the morning, the temperature was -7 degrees Celsius, and by noon, it had risen to 11 degrees Celsius. So what was the temperature at noon? Okay, so we're basically trying to figure out the temperature at noon, right? And then we are given, so our initial temperature is -7 degrees. Okay, that's our initial. And then it says it has risen, so 11 degrees, so it's going to be plus 11 degrees Celsius, right? So then we just do -7 plus 11, okay? And then the sum is our answer. So what do? We do -7 plus 11, and we get 4, right? And then don't forget to write the degrees Celsius. So at noon, it is 4 degrees Celsius. Okay? So finish the last page, and then here are your answers.